Good day, sir. I am John Philip Amor. Now we discuss the physical evidence can be categorized into various types depending on its nature and relevance to a crime or investigation. Biological evidence. This includes DNA, blood, saliva, hair, tissue, and bodily fluids. DNA evidence is particularly valuable in forensic investigation. Trace evidence. This category encompasses small materials left at the crime scene, such as fibers, glass, fragments, paint chips, gunshot residue, soil, and pollen. Impression. These are marks left by objects or people at a crime scene, such as fingerprints, footprints, tire tracks, and tool marks. Firearms and tool marks. Evidence related to firearms includes bullets, cartridge cases, gunshot residue, and firearms impression. Tool marks refer to impressions left by tools or objects used in a crime, such as crowbars, screwdrivers, or prying tools. Documents. This includes any written or printed material relevant to a crime, such as notes, letters, contracts, or counterfeit currency. Digital evidence. In the modern age, digital evidence is increasingly important and includes data from computers, smartphones, surveillance cameras, GPS devices, and social media accounts. Arson evidence. Evidence related to arson investigations include fire debris, accelerants, burn patterns, and charred materials. Drugs and toxicology. This involves evidence related to illegal drugs, pharmaceuticals, poisons, and toxic substances found at the crime scene or in a victim's body. So these are just a few examples, and the types of physical evidence can vary widely depending on the specific circumstances of a case. That's all, sir. Thank you.
Scientific evidence plays a crucial role in various fields, including medicine, public health, environmental science, and policy making. It serves as the foundation for making informed decisions and developing effective strategies. In order to apply scientific evidence effectively, certain considerations should be taken into account. First is identify research question. Clearly define the problem or question that needs to be addressed. This will help in selecting the appropriate scientific evidence to inform the decision-making process. Number 2, conduct a literature review. This involves searching for relevant studies, articles, and reports that provide scientific evidence related to the research questions. Peer-reviewed journals, reputable databases, and expert opinions can be valuable sources of information. Number 3, evaluate the quality of evidence. Assess the reliability and validity of the scientific evidence. Consider factors such as study design, sample size, methodology, and statistical analysis. High-quality evidence from well-designed study is more likely to provide accurate and reliable information. Number 4, consider the context. Take into account the specific context which the scientific evidence will be applied. Factors such as population demographics, cultural consideration, and local condition may influence the relevance and applicability of the evidence. Number 5, analyze and interpret the findings. Analyze the result of the scientific evidence and interpret their implication for the research question or problem at hand. Consider the strength and limitation of the evidence and how it aligns with existing knowledge. Number 6, communicate and disseminate the result. Clearly communicate the findings of the scientific evidence to relevant stakeholders, policymakers, and practitioners. Use clear and concise language and present the evidence in a format that is accessible and understandable to the target audience. Number 7. Monitor and update the evidence base. Scientific knowledge is constantly evolving. Stay updated with new research findings and update the evidence base as needed. This ensures that decisions and strategies continue to be informed by the most current and reliable scientific evidence available. By following these steps, scientific evidence can be effectively applied to inform decision-making process and contribute to evidence-based practices in various fields.
Forensic chemistry involves applying chemical principles and techniques to analyze evidence and criminal investigation. Some basic principles include: number 1. Trace analysis. Detecting and analyzing minute amounts of substance found at a crime scene. Number 2. Instrumental analysis. Utilizing sophisticated instruments like mass spectrometers and chromatograph to identify and quantify a substance. Number 3. Chain of custody. Maintaining a documented trail of evidence handling to ensure its integrity and admissibility in court. Number 4. Preservation techniques. Employing methods to prevent contamination or degradation of evidence during collection, storage, and analysis. Number 5. Chemical reaction. Utilizing chemical reaction to identify substance such as presumptive tests for blood or drugs. Number 6. Quality control. Implementing rigorous quality control measures to ensure accurate and reliable results. Number 7. Legal standard. Adhering to legal standards and protocol for evidence collection, analysis, and reporting.
Retrieval procedures for criminal investigations. Criminal investigation is a process of gathering and evaluating evidence to identify suspects and establish reasonable grounds for suspicion. It involves techniques such as physical evidence collection, data analysis, theory development, suspect identification, adapting to changing circumstances, and securing the crime scene. An effective investigation team requires reliable members with diverse skill sets who can work together through open communication and prompt resolution of conflicts. The role of physical evidence in investigations. Physical evidence is the backbone of criminal investigations, providing objective and dependable data that can corroborate or refute investigative theories. Maintaining the integrity and usefulness of evidence in the investigation requires understanding the specifics of the case and familiarizing oneself with all permissible investigative measures, including the management and analysis of gathered evidence. Collection and preservation. In criminal investigations, even a single error in the collection and preservation of evidence can determine the outcome of a case. Adhering to the correct protocols for collecting and preserving evidence, such as documenting the scene, gathering and securing the evidence, and preserving the chain of custody, is vital for performing reasonable grounds for suspicion or belief in the investigative process. It is crucial to preserve evidence effectively to ensure a fair and accurate outcome. The procedure for gathering physical evidence must be thorough. It includes documenting the scene, recognizing and safeguarding the evidence, obtaining trace materials and DNA evidence, properly preserving and transporting the evidence. Analyzing evidence. Once the evidence is collected and preserved, it's time for the investigation team to roll up their sleeves and dive into the world of analysis. Techniques employed to examine and interpret physical evidence include microscopy, chromatography, and DNA analysis. The primary components of an investigation involve gathering documents and administering interviews, with covert surveillance playing a key role in obtaining a variety of data, including location, activities, health status, and potential evidence for legal proceedings. as the investigation unfolds, newly revealed information may call for multiple interviews and adjustments to investigative strategies. Investigators must keep a clear grasp of the purpose of the interviews and overarching investigation objectives. Presenting evidence in court. After all the hard work of collecting and analyzing evidence, the final hurdle is presenting the evidence in court. To do this, effective investigators must maintain an accurate record of all activities related to the investigation, document and authenticate the chain of evidence, employ strategies such as organizing the evidence, utilizing visual aids, and preparing witnesses. Presenting physical evidence in court encompasses labeling the evidence, presenting it to witnesses, having witnesses offer it, and securing its admissibility based on the judge ruling. Ultimately, the successful presentation of evidence in court hinges on investigators' ability to clearly and convincingly demonstrate its relevance and reliability.
The role of an investigation team is to gather pertinent facts, data, and evidence, establish the chronological order of events and transpired leading up to a particular incident or crime. Having a team leader who directs the investigation and liaises with stakeholders and external parties. Comprise specialists with specialized insights and experience in investigating specific types of incidents or crimes. Successful investigations hinge on effective communication and coordination, role understanding and collaborative efforts among team members, resolving conflicts within the team, maintaining focus on the investigation objectives, ensuring a swift and efficient conduct of the investigation. Team members should possess reliability, trustworthiness, and the ability to work together to acquire data and evaluate evidence. In some cases, outside counsel or experts may be engaged to provide specialized knowledge or guidance during the investigation. The investigative thinking process. The investigative thinking process is the beating heart of criminal investigations, pumping life into the collection and analysis of data, the development of theories, and identification of suspects, like a mental map guiding investigations through the twists and turns of a case. The investigative thinking process encompasses data collection and analysis, theory development and validation, suspect identification, adapting to changing circumstances. The ultimate aim of investigative thinking is to provide sufficient evidence to substantiate a belief, identify potential suspects, and lead to an arrest and formal charges. This specific is a mental exercise that requires investigators to critically evaluate the evidence at hand, sift through the data, and draw meaningful conclusions. It is a journey through the maze of information, which each turn could lead to a new discovery or a dead end. Data collection and analysis. Data collection and analysis form the foundation of the investigative thinking process. This involves gathering and examining information from various sources, such as witnesses, documents, and physical evidence to support investigative theories. The procedure for data collection and analysis entails gathering data from multiple sources and evaluating it to validate investigative theories. Data collection and analysis are essential for criminal investigations, as they assist in identifying and analyzing evidence, formulating investigative theories, and constructing a case against a suspect. Examples of data collection and analysis include gathering and analyzing physical evidence, interviewing witnesses, and analyzing financial records, developing theories, and identifying suspects. Once data is collected and analyzed, it is time to put on a detective hat and develop theories to explain the evidence, formulating theories and pinpointing potential suspects in the investigative reasoning process involving analyzing and collected information and constructing hypotheses based on the evidence.